I don't want to say it's the most inexcusable thing Michael Vick has ever done, because obviously that would be ridiculous. But I do believe it's one of, if not the most ridiculous and inexcusable thing I ever heard come out of his mouth. I couldn't believe when I read that quote from Michael Vick. I was shell-shocked. And here's why. Number one, you've been in the NFL since 2001. You have been around too long to know better than doing something like that. Number two, you're the backup to Geno Smith, who's considered, at least at the moment, and even coming into the season, being one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. One of the reasons you came to New York is because you knew that at any given moment, although you were there to be the backup to Geno Smith, that at any given moment your number could be called. So knowing that your number could be called, knowing who you were backing up, knowing that it's the New York Jets, knowing that it's the media capital of the world, knowing what you said in the past in the aftermath of the dogfighting scandal, when you just looked at your life and you felt that obviously changes needed to be made. And we all applaud Michael Vick and the progress that he has made. We can't say enough about the man that he has become compared to what he acknowledged he once was.
Yep.
But he also acknowledged in the aftermath of all of that how much he shortchanged Jim Mora and the Atlanta Falcons organization because he didn't put in the necessary work. If I recall correctly, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's pretty close to what he said verbatim, that he would get the playbook and literally throw it in the trunk of his car and paid very little to no attention to it while he was the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. So knowing all of that, knowing that history, knowing the dereliction of duty that you exercised, which led to you not being all you could be, when you were the $130 million man as the starting quarterback and one of the preeminent faces in the NFL for the Atlanta Falcons franchise, going through all of that, working your way back to a point that at least as a man and as a professional, you were highly respected, even though they looked at you and they might have said you could throw the football better, or you could be more productive. There was clearly no questions about what work you put in, what you were willing to do in order to move forward. For it to regress back to this point because you acknowledged that you didn't put in 100% effort, that you were unprepared, is stunning. And incredibly disappointing. Incredibly disappointing. Because for me, it's like anybody, I'm not talking about Michael Vick, the man, the character. Listen, he's made amends. I'm good with him. He's a great guy. But Michael Vick, the football player, this is an incredible indictment against him, man. And I don't know, to be quite honest with you, how he can recover from that, to say you aren't prepared.
Really?
Unless you step out on the field and ball the rest of the season.
Yep.
I don't see how.
It's funny. I see this completely differently than you see this.
Well, what else is new?
I know, but it's just, it's stunning to me how differently I took this than you took it. I'm putting this in a whole different perspective, to the point I'm not blaming Michael Vick for what he said. I'm blaming the Jets management for the conditions under which they signed him. I'm pretty sure they laid down the law to Michael Vick. Idzik, the GM, laid down the law. Who's his man? Who's his future? Who is his? Yeah, it's Geno. His whole future with the Jets, whatever's left of it, is tied to that quarterback. He didn't take him in the first round, but he thought that he stole him with the 7th pick in the second round, number 39 overall.
Okay.
And I believe that they read the riot act to Michael Vick, because Michael Vick came in with still big mystique. Is that fair to say? I mean, there's still aura around Michael Vick, even remnants of Atlanta Vick. He wasn't just a sideshow in Atlanta. He was the show of shows in Atlanta, Georgia. So that aura, that star power that he still brought with him from Philly days, could have wrecked young Geno if they made it an open competition. But they did not make it an open competition in camp. And I believe that Michael Vick was under orders to say and do all the right things, which was to be not a good soldier, the greatest soldier ever, to be the mentor to young Geno, to be the flat-out backup, no competition mentioned with Geno Smith.
The issue is you are playing in the National Football League. You are the backup to a dude that threw 12 touchdowns, 21 interceptions, completed 55% of his passes, just went 8-8. You know that Eric Decker is their definition of a primary receiving option. You know that Geno Smith isn't necessarily ready. You know that this defense can only carry you so far. You know that John Idzik didn't necessarily give you an elite corner. You know that all over the New York Jets organization, it's right with mediocrity and ineptitude. And on top of it all, we are talking about the National Football League. One play can take you out, especially at the quarterback position. There is no excuse, none, not to be ready. There is no excuse to admit you were not ready. That's the issue here.
Where was Rex last week?
Let me ask you a question.
When Matt Sims is taking scout team reps, where's Rex?
That's not the point.
Yes, it is the point.
No, Michael Vick, out of the kindness of his heart, helping Matt Sims come along. If you're Michael Vick, did you expect the Jets to call Matt Sims into the game if Geno Smith got hurt?
He's not eligible.
No, exactly. So that means you have to be ready because anything can happen to Geno. Anything can happen to Geno. Forget the... Oh, is he going to start? Is he going to play? Is he going to get benched because of a lack of productivity? The point is, you're the backup quarterback. It's the NFL. It's the most violent sport going. At any given moment, you're going to be called upon to be ready. I love Michael Vick. I know him personally. He's a good brother. I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. But as a football player, what he admitted to was egregious because you have to be ready.